Okay, so a couple of requests just to do a video introducing hidden detail. So if you're following this video, I'm going to be doing the example on slide number 6. I'm going to show you what I'm looking for all of the PowerPoint slides, but I will do them in a slightly different order. So what I am looking for is on the PowerPoint, I would like you to draw all of the slides in 3 different pictorial views, so isometric, 2-point perspective, 1-point perspective. All of the slides are National 4 level, so if you're doing the National 4-5, this should be more than attemptable for the majority of you. Might take you a wee minute just to understand what's going on with some of the drawings, and it will take you a wee bit longer than it's going to do for me for this video. If you're doing higher, you want to be building up to this sort of speed that I'm doing it just now. As I said, all National 4. We will be moving on to National 5 and higher ones next week, but we need to get the fundamentals of it correct. Some people have been submitting work and it's more an oblique rather than an isometric, so please look at the examples page, follow the videos and do the step-by-steps. If you're still stuck, take a photo of your work at any point, submit it via Teams or in an email to me, and I'll be able to give you some feedback. So we're going to do this a wee bit back to front just now, because I'm going to do the 2-point perspective first, because it will help you understand hopefully what's going on with the hidden detail. So I'm going to draw the end elevation, or technically the elevation. I'll draw about there, and I'm going to go back to vanishing point 1. Okay. And then I'm going to gauge the size. I'm going to go roughly for about here. So guys, on the Teams page, you'll notice tomorrow, Wednesday at 9 o'clock, there's a theory PowerPoint for your pictorials going up, as well as a forms. It's really important that we're keeping the theory side of things up. I've also uploaded building symbols, which I need you to learn. Unfortunately, there are some pieces of theory which it is a case of just memorising them. Okay, so these are building symbols. You need to get the names of them bang on. I have made up a Quizlet, which makes it a wee bit more fun. It helps you create flashcards, you can play little games, but you do need to memorise all of the building symbols that I have put up onto the Quizlet for you. Now, trying to talk through this whilst doing the drawing at the same time, this isn't going to be my best drawing, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you about what I am expecting from you. Okay, so I've almost drawn the elevation, and then we'll just do that there. So end elevation is going to come back to vanishing point number 2. So when you're doing these drawings, I'm expecting you to be varying the line weights, making sure that your construction lines are nice and light, and that when you come to do your outline, it's a nice dark firm line, nice sharp lines, nice sharp corners. Okay, so that when you have finished the drawing, the construction lines should fade away. Now, I've had to make my construction lines darker than I would normally because I need for you to see them on the video. If I was doing this as a finished drawing, these construction lines would be like little hairs, just so that no one could see them apart from me. Okay, so that part there, everyone should have been able to do from the orthographics and the first couple of videos that we've done. In the PowerPoint, there is then some hidden detail on this end elevation. Now, hidden detail, if you haven't done this in 3rd year or you're crashing a higher course, is like X-ray vision. And what this hidden detail is trying to tell you is that there's something important going on, but it's not happening here. It's happening behind the surface and we can't see it, but it's important enough that the artist or the designer has had to include it so you know what's going on. So if you look at the hidden detail, what we've got is we've got a line that comes here and a line that comes here. And what I was trying to represent is that there's a piece of material, let's just say for example wood, that's forming a shelf here. Then there's a piece of hidden detail that comes down the front, which is the front of the drawer. A thinner piece of material at the back, which would be the back of the drawer. And then another line here, which is this piece of wood, which is suspended, holding it as a, make sure nothing falls through the bottom. If you look at my drawing just now, that's not what I see. I don't see a shelf here. Okay, it looks like there's a solid surface here. I can't put something onto this shelf because it doesn't exist at the moment. So when you are doing your pictorials, if you're doing a 2.5D drawing isometric, perspective, oblique, planimetric, you do not have the hidden detail. What you do is you use the hidden detail from the orthographic to inform how this shape here looks. So the hidden detail isn't going to appear here. It's going to tell me that this shelf at the back exists. So I'm going to take that corner and I'm going to take it very lightly back as a construction line. Now if we look at the orthographic, the shelf cannot extend beyond the shape of the little TV unit. So we need to find this back corner and project it down to find out where the shelf ends. So the shelf ends here. Right, so I've just taken a vertical line down, and this line that I've just outlined just now, that's what your hidden detail is representing. Imagine this was made of see-through glass. This hidden detail is showing you that line. But the shelf doesn't make sense because it doesn't have a corner. So taking that corner, I'm going to take it from vanishing point 1, and I'm going to extend it forward again. And now it's quite clear that there's a piece of material here with a hollow gap that I'd be able to put items on. So again, looking at the hidden detail, I need to show that this is hollow underneath. How do I show that something's hollow underneath? Well, I need to see what's going on here. So this corner at the back, if I just outline the bottom of the shelf there, I'm going to take that tiny little corner and project it back. And there it looks like that is now suspended. There's a gap, a little mouse could run under there if it wanted to. So that is the 2-point perspective. So let's draw it in 1-point perspective as well now. So down here, so remember with the 1-point perspective, you draw the elevation. So I was asked a question earlier on, and it was, how do you know what one to start with? What one is face on? If I'm going to be taking this back to this vanishing point, it would make sense that I draw the end elevation second. If I was drawing over here, I would draw the end elevation and then the elevation this way. So it really depends what way you're looking at your object. So just going to quickly fill this in. Now guys, because I'm trying to show you more about the process, I'm not spending that much time as I normally would on my proportion. So honestly, I'm not happy with the quality of these drawings, but I don't want these videos to end up being half an hour long. So I'm just kind of going through it, spending more time on the actual process that I would like you to follow, and then you would be concentrating more on your proportion than I am. Put that down there, put that down there. Okay, and did that just shift? Yeah, it did. Okay, putting in the ground. And then because this isn't affected by perspective, it goes into the side. So I'm going to take this back to the second vanishing point. Remember, anything going back to the vanishing point is affected by perspective. So I have left myself enough room just to put a small little version of this TV unit here. Taking that across. So what did we learn when we did the 2-point perspective? We knew that the hidden detail is not going to appear on this drawing as a dashed line, but it is going to inform some additional lines. So just like we knew that we had to put a shelf in here, we have to put the shelf in here as well. So I am going to take this corner back to the vanishing point, just as a light construction line. It can't go all the way through, it can only go to the back of the TV unit. So finding the corner, projecting it down till it meets, and then I am able to outline the TV unit. So the same thing's affected, we need to make it look like it's hollow underneath. So I'm going to put that bit just back at the end there. Okay, so I've got my 1-point perspective, I've got my 2-point perspective, and then I'm going to have my isometric. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to draw my corner. That's going to be quite big. So let's make it a wee bit smaller, shall we? So I'm going to do that from here to there. And then using my 30-60 lines, I don't want my drawings to overlap. Now, I am doing this on quite a small piece of paper so that it all fits onto the screen. That's what these little stars in the corner are for. I've got a little setup here so that you are able to watch everything I'm doing, but it does mean that I'm having to do the drawings quite small just so that they all fit on the screen. but hopefully you're getting the idea. There's really useful videos on YouTube if you feel that my videos maybe go too fast, or if you've not got enough detail. You've got the terminology now, you know that we're drawing perspective, we're drawing isometric, and then over the next couple of videos we will be looking at planimetrics and obliques. They are all covered in the theory PowerPoint, as I said, in the assignments tab on home. Okay then, so let's just darken that down, just so we can outline it. Guys, it'd be really useful for me to know what parts of the course that we're doing so far you're finding difficult, what techniques I'm using that you're finding quite useful. Do the videos help? Would you rather I did more PowerPoints? Would it be useful for us to have a live check-in where you can ask me questions in real time? So if you could get some feedback to me, it would be really beneficial to me to help you guys over the next wee while. And I'll just put in that little drawer handle. Okay, and again for the hidden detail and isometric, it's exactly the same. I'm just going to take that shelf back. We know that it's not coming out as far as that corner this time, so we just need to put these wee corners in there. Okay guys, so that is your 3 drawings. If I had planned it out better, it would have looked much neater, but that's what I'm looking for you to do for each of the drawings that I've put up on the PowerPoint. So what you should be doing is you should be looking through all of the slides. I would do them in order because each time you do a different drawing, I've put them up in that order for a reason, and that's because it introduces hidden detail, it introduces gaps, it introduces things that stick out. Then it starts to move on to diagonals. What happens if you have, for example, a roof that meets up at a point? How are you going to tackle that? And then they start to become more and more complex objects. Particularly if you're going to be moving on to doing the higher drawings next week. I need you to be able to do these basic geometric shapes, so just nice right angles and very basic diagonals, before I can introduce you to curves. Okay, the curves are going to be the second part of the assignment, and if you can't draw in the geometric just now, you're going to find the curves really quite difficult. The reason that I'm introducing this part of the course at the start, guys, is because I'm expecting you to be practicing this. Yes, I'll be giving you assignments, but over the summer holidays, a piece of paper, you should be able to just go through and pick up your accuracy, make sure you're improving your draftsmanship, but also your speed, okay? You're only going to have 8 hours in your final assignment. For those of you that are moving on to the higher, you should know that that is not a lot of time to do all of, oh, I've missed a line on all these drawings. See, there we go. Just shows you if you're too busy chatting, you'll miss a line on each of the drawings. Just well got that before someone puts it in the comments. But yeah, you need to pick up the speed, because for National 5, not only are you going to have to do these drawings, you're also going to have to render them. You're also going to have to do manual orthographics, which again means you'll be sketching them by hand. You need to get this dexterity, this speed, this accuracy, training your hand-eye coordination, and getting the draftsmanship, okay, getting the difference between the light lines and the dark lines. Because I can't do it for the video, I'm just outlining them in pen so that you're able to see what I should be able to get from you guys when you are submitting your final assignment to me on Teams. So just to clarify, I am looking for you to work through the PowerPoint. You can submit all of the work that you've done if you want, but by the end of the week, by Friday, I would like you to have uploaded the most difficult one in the PowerPoint that you have done in all 3 styles. Okay, I'm not going to be giving you a mark just now, it's only the first week, but I will be giving you feedback on areas that you can improve, how you could, whether it's proportion, whether it's your drafting skills, whether it's the style. As I said, some people have been submitting things which are in oblique view rather than isometric, and it's really important that we're able to understand the difference between them and also how to draw them. I've got one more wee line. Okay, so that's what I should be getting from you. Okay, 1 page, 3 pages, it doesn't matter. The same object, isometric, 2-point perspective, 1-point perspective. Any questions or any issues, give me a shout in Teams or via email.